Good morning everyone. It is Sunday the 3rd of March 2024 and it is absolutely freezing on my allotment, and as you can see it's rather dull and grey and miserable. Well, it's not miserable, it's not raining, but overall it's freezing cold and very grey. Now, I underestimated how cold it is, and when I got down here I've got a few like tubs and trays and stuff that have got water in and they've frozen over. And realistically, when I'm probably doing these plot tours, I need some gloves on. And I forgot my gloves, so I've actually got my gardening gloves on just to keep my hands warm because it is really that cold. Anyway, so if you've not joined me on my YouTube channel before, my name's Kirsty Ward. I'm the owner of My Little Allotment, which is like my social media name. And I have a lovely big allotment plot that is about 294 square metres, and it's based in Lincoln, in Lincolnshire in the UK. And I am on here to basically show you what I'm doing down on my allotment, to give you some plot tours, to show you some like ideas that I'm doing, what I'm planting, what I'm growing, how I'm doing it, and taking you on a little bit of a journey this year down the allotment plot basically. Now, I did an allotment tour in January and I hadn't done much. We are now obviously at the start of March, so this is technically my February plot tour, just a little bit late, a few days late, and there's quite a bit been done. There is still quite a bit to go, like we're not going to lie about it. I have a lot of work to do, and realistically I'd like to get all of that work done by the end of March, and then maybe a few of the jobs can be left till the start of April. There's a few things that maybe I don't need until like the start of April, like my greenhouse on my allotment, that needs cleaning and sorting, but it can wait till April because the only thing that I put in that greenhouse is normally tomatoes, and I don't plant up my tomatoes till like the end of April, start of May, when the risk of frost has passed anyway, because I have a little greenhouse at home that I use for all my seedlings. So there are some jobs that maybe I can wait till April, but I'm just going to sort of take you through a little bit of the plot, show you some of the jobs I have already done, and I'll just reference it back to some of the videos from my January plot tour so you can see basically how I've got on. I have got a lot of jobs to get through, so I'm going to show you the plot. There's basically, this is what I call like the top end of the plot, where like my compost bins are. And we've kind of like started here. When I say we, my dad's helped me because he's the best, and his allotment's just here and it's great and it's all sorted. So he's been helping me a bit, but basically from the top of the plot here downwards, there's a lot of work been done, and then we hit a point where I've done nothing. Anyway, I'm going to show you, but this is the compost area. I don't know if you can see. As you can see, it's full of bags of compost from Rocket Grow, and I've got lots of mulch because I'm going to be mulching a lot of the plots. There's still time to mulch, people. If you haven't done it, don't worry. I mean, most people do it in like the autumn and winter, but you can still do it like through the end of winter to the start of spring. Perfect way to like retain lots of moisture in your soil, help protect any of your like plants from slugs, and then obviously it helps like reduce the weeds, and it's really good. So I've gone like no dig, and I love mulching. I talk about it quite a lot. Anyway, I've also got like some multi-purpose compost and stuff here that's going to go in the veg trug for my strawberry bed, and I've got loads of bags of leaves. So the idea still is to clad the inside of the compost bays because the pallet bins have like got too big a gap and all the compost is falling out, or whatever I'm storing in there, like wood chip and stuff. So hopefully get that done in the next week, get that cladded, and then get all of the wood chip out of here onto the paths, and then basically start really thinking about composting properly this year. By the end of this year, I promise you, I'm going to be showing you my very sexy compost that I've made. Moving down to the little pallet raised beds, the pallet collar raised beds, you know what I mean. Anyway, I have weeded them, I have topped them up with compost, and I have wood chipped the path here. And then at the back there was obviously a little video that I did just about my veggie pod, it's empty currently. I've got loads of multi-purpose compost. I'm going to fill that up. And then I've got loads of really established strawberry plants to go back in there, and that's going to be my strawberry bed. Now, some lovely person got in touch with me on Instagram about veggie pod, and they've got a small veggie pod that they didn't need anymore, so they dropped it off for me. So that's amazing. I'm going to get that down here too and put that at the back, and then probably fill that with strawberries as well, because I have got lots of strawberry plants. Or I'm going to move my pineberry plants. I don't know whether a lot of you have had pineberry plants, but pineberries are small white like strawberries, but they've got a pineapple and strawberry taste. They are amazing. So if you've got any room to grow them, definitely do it. But I'm going to move that small veggie pod down here. Yeah, I'm going to fill it with the pineberries because that takes them out of the raised beds near my greenhouse, and then I can use the raised beds for other things. My amazing dad, I don't think you can see me, oh, here we are, look, hi. My amazing dad has been busy sorting this area out. So this is my flower patch along with the other side of the path, my lovely lavender path here, big blackcurrant, but this as a whole is my flower bed. This is going to be full with dahlias this year. I have loads of dahlias on their way. I ordered them from Farmer Gracie, so I'm really hoping they arrive this month because I'm super excited, because if any of you don't know, I absolutely love dahlias. Anyway, so he has dug over this part of my allotment. It was really thickly, heavily covered in couch grass. So my dad has dug it out. But the aim is to fill it with dahlias and then keep on top of the weeding and then heavily mulching the dahlias at the end of the season, ready for next season. I've never really had a problem mulching in the dahlias and leaving them in the beds, so that is a plan for the end of the season. So obviously when we get to that part, I'll show you what I do to protect my dahlias in the ground. Now, the path running up to the shed is full of weeds, and it's really, really hard to like get in and weed because the weeds like to grow in the middle of the lavender plants, which is really annoying. But I'll maybe spend like an hour or so at some point just getting those weeds out of the path and the lavender plants. And then the lavender plants need cutting. So I do this every year. I'm like, I'm going to cut my lavender plants back when it's time, you know, at the end of flowering. And then we get to like March and I still haven't done it. And I know they get a little bit woody and stuff, but they're always incredible lavender plants down here, and the only purpose of them is to bring the bees down here, which they absolutely do. But yeah, I need to cut them back. Now, honestly, do you know what? Honestly, it's so cold right now. My hands are absolutely freezing. Oh, okay. Do you know what I didn't know is that on my phone, I can have this grid thing which shows me if my phone's level when I'm filming, which is really helpful because I've just been trying to wing it, but actually this is apparently level. Anyway, that's really not relevant. I am absolutely freezing right now. It is so cold down here. I don't feel like we've had a really cold morning like this for ages. Of course it's going to be the morning I come down to do loads of allotment work and to do my filming. But anyway, so the next bed, it kind of blends in with the grass paths. This is my worst bed, realistically, in the sense that the couch grass, because the grass paths are basically couch grass, has grown into the path. Now, this bed is going to need edging, really, as in I'm going to not edge. So all of my other beds are edged with like really thick scaffolding boards, which just really helps keep that couch grass out. Now, I would love to do it on this bed as well, but the wood is so expensive. I'm sure you all know if you've got allotments and that. It's really expensive. So what I'm going to do is edge it with an edging tool all the way around, and then I'm going to dig out this bed. I'm going to dig out all of the couch grass, and obviously I'm trying to reduce how much I'm digging, but dig out the couch grass first, and then I'm going to cardboard it and heavily mulch it so that it's ready for a no-dig bed. Whether I use this bed this year, I'm not actually sure. I just want to get it so it's in great condition, at least for next year. there's loads of other space on my allotment that I can use, and I've got lots of growing space at home as well. So quite happy to just sort of get this ready for next season. I do need to tidy out the shed. When I say tidy out, I've just got loads of stuff in there that I've shoved in there for storage over the winter, because I find that basically when there's storms and stuff, I keep the doors on my greenhouse and the vents open, because that tends to stop any of the wind blowing out any of the panels or any of the glass. So I can't really store anything in there because it doesn't really stay dry. So everything's in my shed. So I'll clear that out very soon, because all the cardboard and stuff that's in there is going to be used on the beds. I've got 2 little raised beds or pallet collars just at the top of this area. It's just full of like spring and summer bulbs, like lilies, alliums, daffodils, tulips, I can't remember, all sorts. So realistically, I'm just going to give them a little weed and just top them up with a bit of compost, but they're quite happy. I don't really need to do much. And then just beyond that are the sage plants. I'm just going to give them a quick prune. Well, actually, I'm not going to prune them. I'm going to use my, what's this? My hedge cutter. I'm going to use my hedge cutter basically, because it's nice and quick and easy, and it just takes all of the dead foliage off it. And the bathtub, the roll top bathtub, is just at the top here. That has become really full with weeds. So, oh, sorry if I'm just hitting my mic. I'm gonna just give that a weed. It's got loads of alliums. What? It's got loads of alliums in from last year, so they'll all grow. They're all perennial, obviously. Basically, I'm just gonna leave it to it. I would like to add some dahlias to it for the summer, so I will basically leave it to grow and then maybe add some alliums to it when the risk of frost is past, normally around May in Lincoln. So now we're back at the main path through the middle of the allotment with the 2 beds either side, well 3 because it's split up, but on this side the long bed. You can't really see, but I have sort of done a third of it, just gently weeded out any of the couch grass, any of the weeds, and basically the same will be done for the rest of the length of this bed to the top. I've got quite a bit of couch grass growing in there again. It seems to be an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to dig out the big bits of couch grass, only using like a spade or a fork if I need to, but I'll be using hand tools as much as possible just to get out the other little weeds. And then I have loads of compost, so I'm just going to give it a really thick layer of compost, a couple of inches of compost all the way across. My perennial bed this side, I've got some gooseberries, some artichokes. Unfortunately, had a big problem with brambles in here. So my dad, bless him, has helped dig out the brambles, but kind of maybe knocked out one of the artichoke plants. I don't know, it might still come back, but it doesn't matter if not. I'm going to grow some more artichoke plants from seed. They're really easy to grow, and they're such a great addition to an allotment. They're perennial, they add lots of like structure, you know, because they're tall. They just give like a little bit more, you know, a little bit of something to the allotment. They're really, really great for the bees. Like, I don't particularly like the taste of artichokes, so I basically let them grow and let them flower and pollinate, because the bees absolutely love them. And then I like to dry the heads of them and use them in decoration, or to be honest, like a lot of the dried ones have gone in bug houses and things. They're a great place for like little ladybirds to live. Anyway, so super versatile. This area, now it had my asparagus in, but the asparagus bed has not been great for the past year or so. This needs digging. So again, this one's going to be heavily dug because I just want to get rid of the weeds. This area, it seems to be where the weeds are coming from. Nice heavy dig just to get going. Really thick layer of cardboard and a really thick layer of compost. It's just going to be left for the year like that. Obviously I've got the gooseberry plants in here, I've got the artichoke and I've got the cherry tree, and then I'll be adding more perennial plants into this later on in the year. Probably like when we come into autumn, I'll be adding like some bare root plants in here. So yeah, lots of different perennial plants. Possibly, because this was where my asparagus was before, I might put a raised bed on here, because I've got some new raised beds to build, and put my new raised bed asparagus bed, what? My raised bed asparagus bed on here. But I don't know this isn't like a priority again. Like those 2 beds aren't really a priority because I don't need them technically this year. I'm trying to focus on obviously getting the space ready for the stuff I need this year. I don't need to get this bed sort of ready. So that means that I need to basically get my asparagus plants planted up now. So I need to decide where that's going. So realistically, I think the raised asparagus bed is going in the raised bed back. Anyway, I'm waffling now. This one is a no-dig raised bed. No, it's not. It's just a no-dig bed. Anyway, I'm losing my trail of thought now. I am very, very tired. I had about 2 or 3 hours sleep, which is not great. Anyway, apple tree on here. Basically clear out the dead plants from last year. All they are my sunflower plants, and basically all I do is let the birds eat all the sunflower seeds. I've just got a, like I say, probably just a hand tool on this one to dig out some of the deeper weeds. There is a lot of bindweed on here and a lot of couch grass again, because I just have massive problems with it. It's a battle, but never mind, we roll. Anyway, and then again, I hope you can hear me, just a big thick layer of compost, possibly a thin layer of cardboard on this one, just because at the back there's a bit of an issue with perennial weeds. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's move on. Okay then, last part of the plot tour. We're in the little raised bed area. It's not little. I don't know why I ever say little. We're in the raised bed area. Now, looks a mess. Is a mess. Probably wouldn't take me too long to sort actually. So, you know, in my head, I'm like, do I do one of the big jobs like that big bed, which is really daunting and can't be bothered? Or do I do like the smaller, quicker jobs just to get going and feel a little bit more like, oh, I've done that. Anyway, this area, it's a mess, but I feel like it's like a quick fix. Like the raised beds need a very quick weed. Just pull out all the weeds, and then going to put some cardboard in, just a thin layer of cardboard, and then top them up with compost. These 2 little raised beds at the front are just flower beds. They've got lots of flowers going. Morning. This raised bed is again just a little bit of a weed. Add some compost. Same again for that one. And then the 2 beds here at the back are just really flowering beds. There's some lavender in them, a little bit of some little herbs. However, there's just a bit of an issue with, again, perennial weeds. Now, I can't think what this perennial weed is called. I'm going to try and figure it out, but it just seems to grow everywhere, like they all do. But I'm basically just, again, it wouldn't take me very long to like weed these beds and just top them up with compost. Like it's pretty quick. However, there's quite a lot of the weeds has gone into like the floor of this area in the wood chip. So I would quite like to weed the floor and then re-wood chip it. Now I need lots of wood chip dropping off, because this area needs a really thick layer of wood chip. The wood chip that's been on here has probably been down since 2020, because I'm sure that's when me and my dad, during the lockdown time, built the greenhouse and built the raised beds. So like it's in need of a proper good top up. So realistically, I think get the raised beds done, because then they're ready for planting in. But the floor also needs a weed, so I can then give it a nice top up with compost. My hands are so cold. I'm having to like fold my fingers in the bottom of my gloves just to keep them warm. Anyway, let's go to the back. So the greenhouse, so the rhubarb is already growing. It's looking fabulous. I've got like some rogue plum trees over there growing, so I need to cut all those back. Anyway, the greenhouse, it's a mess. So you can't see me. Should I? Let me come and move it down so you can see what I'm doing. 1 minute. Come on then, let's go. Look at my little whoop. Okay, as you can see. Oh, all right, 1 second. So professional, like my filming is so professional. Bet you're all so proud of me. Right, okay. Hi. Okay, so this is my greenhouse. Now, I've had a few people ask, you can't really see all my greenhouse, can you? Let me just move it back a bit, but it's a really nice pent, like roof greenhouse. I'm sure it's 8x8. Oh, I can't get me. There we go. I don't know if that's level. Anyway, 8x8 greenhouse. It's a Vitavia greenhouse. It's my absolute baby. I love it. Anyway, it's full of all my tomato plants from last year. That was me putting my thumbs up. You can't actually tell because of my gloves, but basically all of the tomato plants are still in here. It's absolutely fine. What I'll do is basically take everything out of the greenhouse. All of the tomato plants and the spent compost in the tomato tubs will all go in my compost bin. So that's another reason why I want to get the compost bin sorted. So all of this will go into the compost bins. While everything's out of here, I'm going to give the greenhouse a scrub with hot water, some microfiber cloths and a very small amount of fairy liquid basically, and a lot of elbow grease. So I'll be using a microfiber cloth and one of those dish scrubbers. I really like sorry, I don't know what's up with me this morning. I'm that tired. I feel a bit crazy. I will be using one of those dish scrubbers, so you can get in all the crevices, microfiber cloth, nice hot water, and then give it all a rinse down. I don't have access to a hose pipe down here, so it's a lot of work. But anyway, so I'll do that. Now, I don't know if you can see, obviously on the top there's those panels. They're not glass, they're whatever they are. But 2 of them are quite dirty, so I could do with I'm going to get a step down here or step on a box or whatever, use a brush, like a brush for the floor, and put it in the hot water and the soapy water and scrub the top of those, because I've noticed the light levels in there are a lot lower, and it'll be amazing how different that looks once it's all cleaned. And then the other thing that I'll do is all of the black pots in there, they're all self-watering pots. They will all need a clean too, so they'll all come out, give them a nice scrub with some hot water, put them back in place, and basically that will all be ready to go when the tomatoes will be ready to plant. And that's all that's going to be in there this year is tomatoes, and then maybe on the staging that runs in the middle, I might put some extra chilli plants that I've got, but realistically I just want tomatoes. If I can take that staging out and put that staging somewhere else, maybe in the polytunnel, because I've got a polytunnel on my dad's plot, in the middle I might put some more pots of tomatoes. I might get some more self-watering pots and treat myself. So yeah, basically that's the plan. Lots to do. And then there's lots of little jobs, I need to prune the fig tree, and I need to fill up some raised beds. I've got 4 new metal raised beds that I need to build. They're going to go in this area. They need filling up, filling up and planting. Obviously, I'm starting to seed sow at home, so I'll do a little video maybe at home this week just to tell you what seeds I'm sowing, where I'm sowing them, if we're sowing inside in heated or non-heated propagators. And also I'm going to do another video today, I'm going to film it today, of the polytunnel, because I've never shown you the polytunnel, and I just feel like me and my dad bought it together and put it on his allotment, and we just really haven't utilised it. We grew some really nice tomatoes in it one year, kind of grew some tomatoes in it last year, but we've never really utilised the growing space. And I said this year we are going to properly grow in it. Well, I'm going to grow in it. My dad's going to be probably coming down to water it. So if you're watching it, Dad, that is your job. He's also going to be building some more staging in there, so he likes to grow lots of flowers for community projects. So he's got a roundabout that he likes to plant up and things like that. He's so lovely. So he's going to have an area where he can do that. But I think what we're going to do this year is there's some raised beds in there, and I'm going to grow lots of things like lettuce and carrots and things like that where we can successionally sow. I never know if I say the right word there. so that, and also because it's a bit warmer in there, we'll get things more regularly. And then on the edge where we normally put all the tomatoes, because I've got a big greenhouse that's just going to be dedicated to tomatoes now, and then some outdoor growing space for tomatoes, basically the greenhouse, not the greenhouse, the polytunnel, I'm gonna grow my loofahs in there, cucumbers, some aubergine plants and like sweet pepper plants, and then my chilies will either go a few in here, but mostly my chilies are at home. So that space is going to be like cucumbers, aubergines and peppers, which will be really nice. For those that don't know, like when you grow in cucumbers and tomatoes, they don't actually really like to be grown together. So that's another reason why I'm sort of splitting the space and dedicating one bit to tomatoes and the rest of the stuff going in the other area. So that is the plan. Now I need to be on a mission basically to get all of this done. Like I said, I'd like a lot of the groundwork done by the end of March realistically, because there's some things that I'd like to sow directly into the ground, start getting things planted out. In reality, if this takes me till the end of April, that's absolutely fine. The risk of frost here is normally till May anyway, so there's no rush. And if I can't get stuff in the ground, I've got things that I can sow in. Like I've got some raised beds at home, I've got my greenhouse, I've got the polytunnel, so I can definitely get things started. Things like beetroot, radish, lettuce, and all of those, I can get all those started. I have planted up my onion sets and my garlic at home. I'm very late planting that up, but the reason that it's planted in the greenhouse and I'm going to let that establish before I plant it out is because if any of you remember, I had an absolute nightmare with some animal getting on here and nicking all my young little garlic and onion sets last year, so we're trying a different way. Anyway, that is my plot tour. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much love and stuff on my last couple of posts, and you were all so lovely. Like, it's such a lovely place and I'm really enjoying making these YouTube videos. I know I haven't made many in February, but we're on the roll now, so you're going to get this plot tour, you'll get another plot tour at the end of March, but also this month you're going to get a polytunnel tour. I think I'll do a garden tour. We're going to do what seeds I'm sowing and any kind of like small little jobs. There might be some like small like 5 to 10 minute videos of just things that I'm doing and how I do it, which maybe isn't right, but that's how I do it. Anyway, thank you so much. If you like my videos, please follow, like, subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any ideas that you want me to do on the plot, or if there's anything that you'd like me to show you in more depth, or if you'd like me to help you with anything. If you've got any questions, please write them on here. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I will see you all soon.